Okay.
All right. Welcome everyone. It's 8:00. Welcome in. This is our first of hopefully many we're trying to build out as fast as we can. Not only opening up our trainings that we normally do, maybe even our Monday meetings, and then eventually some group coaching. There's just an unbelievable outpour of questions that we have. So we're getting back. I'm trying to think where that's coming from. Anyway, you got everybody muted there. All right. Please allow us, technology-wise, to get this down. But I'm going to get started. We wanted to have our Friday training session. And obviously, training today is about two things: stabilization and as well as opportunity. And I think getting focused on both of those are going to help everyone during this time of uncertainty. That's all this is a time of uncertainty. And what happens in a time of uncertainty is that we create more interference and corrosion to inspiration. And we do that on all different levels, personal and professional levels. And I want to go through some inspirational ideas of working through how to stabilize ourselves, and then looking for opportunities as well. I will be taking questions, so go ahead and chat me those questions. We're going to keep everyone muted this first time. And as we move to the coaching that we're doing and other things that we're trying out to help people, it should work really, really well. So let's start with stabilization. I like to start with my favorite Southwest Airlines story. And my favorite Southwest Airlines story is when you're sitting on the airlines, right? They tell you, put your face mask on yourself first and then assist any children that you're with. That's what we're doing today, right? You got to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you will not be able to take care of others. And that's personally and professionally. And personally and professionally, there's two ways to take care of yourself. The first is your culture, your values, and the second is cash. Culture and cash. Those are the two ways that we stabilize. That's the face mask of this earth and your faith. And so your values, you need to take a snapshot every day and get into the habit every day of taking a snapshot of your personal values, your experiential values, your giving values, and your receiving values. All four of those every day, because as you can see, the situation changes so quickly. And this is a great practice and discipline to utilize as you move forward and grow and accelerate. And so the first stage of putting that face mask in is understanding your values, and the same holds true in your business. Hold steady and take an inventory of your culture. Make sure that you have those values in your mind. So in my inventory this morning, personal, experiential, giving, and receiving, then moving to my business culture, which is based on one, gratitude. So making sure you reach out to everybody and stay connected and let them know how grateful you are for them. And then forgiveness, knowing that you and all of your employees are going to make tons of mistakes because we're in an unknown situation. There's not stable data. It's uncertain. And so therefore, in uncertain situations, we are experimenting, innovating, and creating, which makes us really need forgiveness because we're going to make mistakes. And then most importantly, in that culture, for us is accountability. Now, I will tell you in 97, 2001, 2008, the one thing that I wasn't, and, and neither was a lot of other people, was accountable, right? It's so easy to utilize blame, shame, and justification for your mistakes. This is the worst thing you can do. In 2008, I learned the lesson of accountability. I learned the lesson of accountability from two perspectives: my own, of being accountable for all the screw ups and mistakes and lessons that I've learned, but also from other people who blame me, lived in shame themselves, justified their difficulties and failures by what I did. So please, gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and then most importantly, in the culture and cash analysis, culture inspiration. You need to stay happy. Serotonin is the virus I want everybody to catch right now. Serotonin is the virus that goes everywhere and spreads faster than anything. And I'll tell you why. Because serotonin is released when you are of service or of value or giving to somebody. Serotonin is the biochemical virus that makes you happy, by the way. And serotonin is released by those who receive value, right? Or services or giving. But here's why serotonin is the best virus in the world. Why it's the most viral of viruses is because it's the only virus you can get, and it's the most powerful virus. It actually increases and strengthens your immune system besides making you happy. Serotonin is the ultimate positive virus. But what makes that virus so powerful, everyone, by giving and receiving, is that anybody that witnesses it, unlike any other virus in the world, serotonin is released and they become happy and their immune system is increased. So we have to stick to our culture personally with doing an inventory of our personal experiential giving and receiving values, and also our culture in our business, making sure we're staying connected via the technologies that we have in order to live by gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and clearing that connection of inspiration by spreading the serotonin virus to as many people that can witness it as possible. So what does that mean? That means don't spend all day sitting and watching the news. Be informed. See what data is aligned with your values and your culture. Don't share negativity or unstable data. Go ahead and share something inspirational. Share something that is aligned with your culture or an ability to make cash. Now, the other part of the Southwest Airlines story that I love so much is they say, put your mask on first and then assist your child. And then they also say, if you have more than one child, which I have 4, pick the one with the most potential first and work your way down. This is what we need to do in this time that we are in an adaptable routine. I teach do it now. And then if you can't do something now, then prioritize it by the one with the most potential first. And that's either to stabilize or to increase your opportunity. There's so many things that we can do in order to stabilize not only ourselves, but as we're stabilizing more and more people down the chain of potential. And when you are able to help other people and be kind to your future self by doing good deeds and spreading the virus of serotonin, of happiness and immunization to everyone, when you do that, you are creating a void, you're creating room for what you want. And nobody will forget. Nobody will forget in the time of pressure those people that flow the best juice. What do I mean by that? When a lemon is squeezed, lemon juice comes out. Right? Under pressure, we find out what's inside of us. And people will remember what's truly inside of us. And people will forgive us. But most importantly, we will learn how powerful we are. We'll learn that we're constantly connected to the most inspirational connection of light, love, and lessons that always exist with us. And we just create the interference and corrosion. So as we're getting squeezed with this pressure and stress, let's see what comes out. And then let's learn and grow and accelerate what those things are and become aware of what's inside of us. The things that we have inside of us that we never thought we did that can help others and share this serotonin and happiness, but also the things we need to work on. The things that we want to improve on. The things that we want to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential. This is the key to the culture question. Now, the second thing in stabilization is as we stabilize ourselves and other people, we have to look to cash. And we have to be pragmatic about what we're doing. We have to stabilize our environment economically. Money is the currency of this vibration. It's an object of energy that we put into the flow. Now, I want to start out when we're looking at the cash component of what we're doing is that money doesn't disappear. But what happens in times of uncertainty, which securely happens from historically all the time. But when there is uncertainty, what happens is money slows down. Money doesn't disappear, but it slows down. So when money slows down, it gives us all the opportunity to innovate, create, introspectively, and extrapolate on what we're doing to take advantage of more opportunities. Now, if you're looking to build your opportunities, there's three things to look at. Number one is your skills. When money slows down, it's a perfect time to develop your skills, to go ahead and look to things that you didn't think you had time to pay attention to or put intention to in order to get the coincidences that you want. You need to develop those skills. And then two, knowledge. What a great time when money slows down and there's uncertainty in order to acquire knowledge that you've never had before. And utilize and have the thirst for that knowledge by seeking mentorship, finding those coaches that you've never had, developing your own knowledge by listening and watching and reading as much as you can about the people that before in your perception you never had time to do. As money slows down and uncertainty increases, it's an extraordinary time to develop your skills and acquire knowledge. But most importantly, the X factor of all success is to understand one thing. Those people that are successful, happy, passionate, profitable, and purposeful in what they do, they all share one thing in common, which I found out from the hundreds of interviews that I've done on the playbook. They all have one thing in common. They must be what they can be. And if you don't have that feeling that you must be what you can be, then utilize this time to find that passion. You're not passionate about something. You're passionate because you've cleared the connection to that which inspires you, an unbelievable source of lessons, light, and love that you're always connected to. You need to understand and practice your passion. Practice learning to love what you do. If you can build this serotonin wall within you and you can share it with others and allow others to witness it during this time, think how easy it will be to be happy when things are easier and there's less uncertainty and there's more money moving faster. You'll be ready to fill that void that you're creating while everyone's sitting around. Sorry. So there we go. Take a little technology break there. You'll be able to do this by looking at your skills, your knowledge, but building that desire. Ask yourself, I must be what I can be all day long? It's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to get distracted today because there's so much noise. But you need to start your day. You need to have an adaptable routine. So how do we create an adaptable routine? We've gone over stability and opportunity. Let's go over routine, because routine will create efficiencies, effectiveness, and statistical success, not only now, but when there is certainty and money starts moving faster. So an adaptable routine is based off of your priorities, which are found from either that culture, your personal values, experiential values, giving and receiving values, but also in the culture of your business. And so an adaptable routine starts with me, with my health. And I put a minimum amount of time on my adaptable routine, and I don't do anything until I get that done. So for me, number one, my adaptable routine always includes a minimum of 1 hour a day on my health. 1 hour minimum a day on my health. Once again, developing my skills, knowledge, and desire by taking care of me first, because if I take care of me, I know I'll take care of others. 2, family. The people that we're going to interact the most with during times of uncertainty is our family. We call them relatives. I'd say they're the people that are most relative to us. But we want to spend a minimum of time with all different relatives. So for me, it's a minimum of 30 minutes a day with my wife, a minimum of 30 minutes a day with my 9-year-old, a minimum of 2 minutes a day with my teenage daughters. I thought it would increase in this time of uncertainty, but my requests for more time have been denied, and rightfully so, I guess. And then a minimum of 1 minute a day with my mom. Now, there's 4 things to remember that we need to remind people of. We need to acknowledge and remember and remind. All of those are unifying words, right? We acquire the knowledge, we remember, we come closer together as a relative family unit, and we remind, right? Remind. Everything comes together. There's 4 things simply that we want to acknowledge, remind, and remember. Number 1, that I'm healthy. Let everybody know that you're healthy. When you are health, you share health, and you will be health. Remind yourself that you're healthy. Be health, and you can give health. That serotonin will emanate from you. And then moreover, remind yourself that you're happy. Remind yourself that you're happy by looking at what you get to do every day and at your values of literally finding the lessons in everything, looking to the love and the light in everything that you're doing. You know, I have a dear friend, Kobe, and he was telling me about, racing cars and getting trained on racing cars. And as he turned the corners, he kept hitting the cones, and the driving instructor kept on saying, take your eyes off of those cones. He's like, what are you talking about? I want to miss the cones. He said, no, if you want to miss the cones, then keep your eye on the road where you want to go. Right? We have to keep our eyes on where we want to go, not on the cones, because if we put our eye on the cones, we're going to end up hitting these cones all day long. Keep your eyes on the road where you want to go. Look, you can get from San Diego to Maine at night only seeing 3 feet in front of you. Keep your eyes where you want to go, and your heart will follow. So you want to, 1, make sure everyone knows you're healthy. 2, everyone knows that you're happy. 3 is a given for me. It's let everyone knows you are here to appreciate them, that you appreciate them, that you're here to add value to them. And then finally, that you love them, right? That you're here to love them, to find the light lessons and love in them. So if you can remind people that you're happy, healthy, that you appreciate them and love them, you will build stronger relationships, but most importantly, you will share those feelings with them so they can allow them to come through you, through them, for others. Not only clearing the connection between that which you're always connected to, but also what you're connecting to. Right? We are just conduits of appreciation. We're sucking in the light, the love, the lessons, and the inspiration. We're adding value to it. It's called appreciation or gratitude. And then we're giving it away and connecting to others. That's the flow that we're creating, which will speed up everything and allow this flow, especially of happiness, of love, appreciation, and health, as we can through serotonin and other great things that we have. Those are all purposeful in what we're doing. Knowing, for example, though, that money doesn't disappear, neither does time. And in this aspect, this is an extraordinary opportunity to deal with time. I always tell people I beat people with math and time, and I'm successful with math and time. I have a 4-minute mark that I love to look at every once in a while when I think I have the time. I should be doing it every day, and because of the uncertainty and money slowing down, it's given me an opportunity to share something that changes my life. If you take today and every day and make it one of your disciplines or habits to figure out what you do every minute, there is stuff that you do every minute. There's stuff that you do every hour. There's stuff that you do every day. There's stuff that you do every week. There's stuff that you do every month and even every year. And out of those things, if you can find 4 minutes that you can save by creating systems, efficiencies, and process, whether it's brushing your teeth, flossing your teeth, taking a shower, laying out your clothes, if you can just save 4 minutes a day, that's actually 24 hours of productivity that you're saving a year. That's 3 full days of productivity. So although there's uncertainty and money is slowing down, all of these different things are occurring, you actually could be gaining time, gaining opportunity by figuring out the efficiencies, effectiveness, and statistical success that you can have, right? Utilizing that philosophy, right? I look and see, okay, for example, losing stuff. I know some of you have heard me talk about this, but losing stuff. People spend 80 hours a year looking for things they lost. So imagine if you can create a system, just create a system about your keys in your wallet, because majority, 90% of the time, that's what people lose. If you just create a system of where to put your keys in your wallet, right? I just got 2 weeks back of productivity for you, 2 40-hour weeks. Imagine how many other things that you can find by looking at the power of 64. What's the power of 64? The power of 64 is, how can I be productive twice as much time? So most people are productive 8 hours a day. How can I be productive 16 hours a day? How can I create efficiencies within that production so that I'm twice as efficient? So when I look at that and say, okay, here I am, 16 hours of productivity, I can take it to 32 hours of productivity. Then, if I'm practicing skills, knowledge, and desire, how can I be twice as statistically successful? I remember watching Tony Gwynn. He owned the San Diego School of Baseball when I was a kid, and he was so generous and benevolent to give back to his community. And he would have young kids like me in the San Diego School of Baseball with Alan Trammell himself, Reggie Waller, all these great guys. But Tony, I would be in the batting cage, and he kind of just peek over every once in a while, and he'd say, turn your right foot in, or whatever advice that he had. But he was on a green screen Betamax machine, and he kept looking again and again at a pitcher's arm like this, again and again and again. And I'm like, Tony, what are you doing? He's like, I'm practicing. I'm like, you're the greatest hitter maybe of all time. You batted .394 last year. Why would you just watch video of where somebody's hand is? And he just said, it's progress, not perfection. Dave, I got to practice every day to increase my skills, to increase my knowledge. But it doesn't happen without one thing that Tony Gwynn had, and that was, he must be what he can be. And that's what we all want to determine here. And if you look at the power of 64, and you can do that, and remember, there is no work, right? This time of uncertainty to me is really inspirational, because I live by activity I get paid for and activity I don't get paid for. So whether I'm in my office or in a home or wherever I may be, I'm always looking to opportunity for things that I can get paid for. And as I'm looking at all these questions that are coming on Instagram and on the training that I'm doing, as you see all of these questions, a lot of them are, how can I make money? Let's get into some pragmatic ways of making money. I'll give you some simple things that I've learned from 97, 2001, 2008 to now. Number one, where do the opportunities lie? Well, there's an easy index that allows us to see how we can make money. And let me tell you where that is. It's the stock market. Now, I don't invest in the stock market, and the reason I don't is not because I don't believe in stocks. In fact, I've been sharing with my friends some stocks that I think you can make money on because of this philosophy I'm going to give you. But for me, I would rather have my time, resources, attention, and intention in other things like making money, and allow my money to have compound interest with no risk. So that in times of uncertainty, which always come about, like 97, 2001, 2008, and now, in times of uncertainty, I don't even worry, because my money's making at least 2% guaranteed. I'm not rushing to the bank to go take it out. I'm not rushing anywhere. I just know that I'll get, less of the upside, but I'm guaranteed 2% on the downside. But here's how I determine how I'm going to make money. I look at the stock market today only for one reason. I look to see, one, what stocks are making money today. Because if I can determine the independent and dependent variables of those businesses that are making money during times of uncertainty, I can mirror or align with some of those things that may be within the capabilities that I have. And I can figure out, if they're making money that way, I'm going to make money that way. Or there's some supplementary or synergistic thing that I can do to make money that way. So I look at the top 50 companies that are making money right now in the stock market that are going up, because those are the companies that have different criteria, independent and dependent variables that are aligned with the opportunities that exist today in the snapshot of today. Then I go and I look at the companies that are maintaining, right? What companies didn't move in this period. And so I just Google, the 50 most consistent stocks over the last week, and I can see what independent and dependent variables and criteria are included in those businesses. And then under my stabilization philosophy and my stabilization strategy, I'm looking to mirror, supplement it, or see what synergistic things I have to the stabilization. And then last search I do in the stock market is to look and see what stocks got crushed, right? What stocks got crushed? Which ones got oversold? The top 50 most crushed stocks, because I want to look and see where the opportunity is going to be tomorrow, right? I'm going to look and see where these things have oversold, because I know one thing, that there will be a day. I was talking to a mentor who's 99 years old, who lived through the Depression, and she was telling me how she had to stand in line for sugar. She had to stand in line for sugar. And guess what? Everything got better. Last 70 years, everything got better, a little bit worse, a little bit better, a little bit worse. But in her dreams, as she stood in line waiting for sugar during the Depression, when my grandfather was selling tires out of the back of the truck, the man who, when he was 65 years old, retired on the day he was 65, living humbly in Akron, Ohio, in a 2-bedroom apartment, but never to have to work again, although he volunteered and to allow himself to enjoy, he made picture frames. But during that time, guess what's going to happen? There'll be another day, everybody, that every stadium is filled, even those watching the Padres and the Chargers. Every concession is lines out the door again, buying IPAs and all of those. Every movie theater filled, all the concerts filled, casinos are going to be filled, and hotels are going to be filled, and you're going to be aggravated in the airports again, getting bumped off of flights. I promise you, all of those things, they're coming. They're coming back at the right way, at the perfect time. And if you are wise enough to study the 3 groups of stock, the top 50, the maintenance 50, and the crush 50. If you can study all 3 of those and learn how are you synergistically aligned in each of those circumstances, how are you supplementing those circumstances, and how do you mirror those circumstances, you can make money today, stabilize your economy, and prepare for the future. Simply because the data, the index is right there. You will see the commonalities between those. You want to know how to make money right now? That's what you need to study. Find those variables, see where you're synergistic, supplementary, and where you can take advantage of all 3 and prepare for those. And keep your eye on the road in front of you, not on the cones to the side of you. Everyone will be fine if you utilize your values and stay positive and look for the lessons, the love. And one of those places that we do it, I mentioned to you, I was talking to one of my friends that's 99, Dr. Gladys. She's an extraordinary woman. When she was 93, I remember she caught my eye as a friend and said, David, I'm 93 and prescription free, right? And here she is today, turning 100. Imagine what she has seen. If you're not using your telephone to call your mentors, if you're not signing up for all the free content that you can find, and if you can afford personalized help, get personalized help, and whatever you can do to gain and accelerate and grow from other people that have seen, I've only seen 93, 97, 2001, 2008, and I've learned and I've studied history. But there's people that are far more knowledgeable than I am. Before this all happened, I told people, look, if you want to make money, it's really easy to do. If you're in real estate, go and find someone that's been in real estate in your area for the last 30, 40 years and ask them to tell you one thing. When is the market overbought? And then after you sell, then you say, okay, when's the market oversold? It's not rocket science, right? If you want to play stocks, then go find your Warren Buffett of the world and say, hey, when's the market oversold in this industry? When is it overbought in this industry? Find those leaders, those mentors. Forget what they charge you. I would pay anything to sit down with Warren Buffett and ask him that question. Because I know whatever I'm paying him to do so, I'll make it back. Because I'll never learn the market. I'll never have the situation I was experiencing in relationship capital that Warren Buffett has to ask that one simple question. Within the airline industry, let me know when it's oversold. No rocket science. You know what you're buying, right? In the food and beverage industry, let me know when it's overbought. in the real estate industry, right? It's not rocket science, everybody. Let's use mentorship. Let's use coaching. Let's find the people. Let's send and share all the positive energy and positive wisdom out there. We don't want to go send all the cones out to everybody and wonder why they're crashing into cones. Send them the GPS, the maps, the roadmap to success, the one that's been successful every year since the Course in Miracles, the Kabbalah, the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Wayne Dyer, Power of Intention. The list goes on and on and on. Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, Bob Proctor, Blaine Bartlett, Cynthia Kersey, all of Mary Morrissey, unbelievable, Les Brown, Brian Tracy. I'm forgetting everybody else in the world. Go Google your favorites. Let them show you the roadmap. They were there far beyond 93, 97, 2001, 2008, and today. They will tell you, like I am, the roadmap, not the cones. And let's share that information. Let's share the serotonin. Let's counteract that virus with this virus, the most powerful virus in the world, the only virus that literally is implemented through witnessing. You all can do that. Now, a lot of people are going to give you a lot of different advice, right? I've seen a lot of stable data, unstable data. You're looking at somebody that spent, 30 minutes this morning tracing calligraphies. And that may seem crazy. And a lot of other things. I've seen, hair dryer with the mister, that gets rid of the coronavirus. And, we got meticides and all kinds of great things out there that may or may not work. Let me tell you my litmus test to what works. Number one, is there risk? That's the first question. I always use this example. I went down to Mexico City and they talked about, infinite life and wisdom and all this. And in order to achieve, that, sanctity, of heaven and infinity, you had to cut off your own head. Now, that seems to be a very high risk for me compared to spending 30 minutes a day tracing calligraphies to take a download from the universe to increase my awareness and to help heal. But the thing is, if it has no risk, like tracing calligraphies or wearing bracelets or whatever else you're into, or hair drying your nose to kill the coronavirus, do it. If there's no risk. If there's no risk, then do it. And if it works for you, then keep doing it. But don't send out stuff where there's risk, where people are, involved in things that could hurt them or others, right? Someone put in there vinegar and water. What's the risk, right? There's plenty of vinegar and plenty of water. Abraham Hicks as well. Thank you. Just some more things there. Now, one of the things that we want to do in the stabilization also is there's a lot of negative thoughts. There's a lot of negative words and there's a lot of negative actions. And people ask me, Dave, how do you stay so positive? How do you clear that connection, get out of your own way of the interference and corrosion to the most powerful source of light, love, and lessons that you're connected to? How do you do it? I use a simple philosophy of cancel, clear, and connect. What does that mean? That if I find myself thinking, saying, or doing anything negative, if someone has attacking thoughts for me, I go to understanding and forgiveness, but I cancel it. Sometimes I say it out loud, cancel. Sometimes I think it in my head, cancel. But I am canceling anything negative that I say, think, or do, or somebody else says, think, or do. I cancel it because I'm into the serotonin virus, the one that spreads by witnesses, the most powerful virus in the world, the one that makes happiness and strengthens your immune system. That's what I'm talking about, because I'm canceling out anything negative, and that's in my conscious. I'm canceling it. I'm creating a habit of being positive and clearing the connection to the most powerful light, lessons, and love that I'm already connected to, that gives me enough power in my finger to light up all of Manhattan. That's what I'm doing. Now, sometimes we keep canceling, but that idea, that thought, it comes up to us every night before we go to bed or every moment when we wake up. And I can't get rid of it. What that means is it's stored within the 40,000 of the same thoughts you have every day. Your subconscious, you get 10,000 new thoughts a day. So we want to maximize the number of positive thoughts that are coming in. And we have to also realize those positive thoughts are coming in and utilizing two faulty systems. My senses, right? Touch, feel, smell, sight. Those are all inaccurate, and my memory. Right? All new think, says, and do's, those need to be canceled if they're negative, because we're already at a disadvantage because we're relying on a faulty system. But moreover, if we can't get rid of that thought, if we keep saying the same things, if we keep doing the same things over, this is in our belief system. These are neural pathways that have formed habits and disciplines. These sit within the 40,000 of the same thoughts we have every day. So what I use is a more strategic approach to clearing that subconscious thought. So what I do is, if I find there's a thought before I go to bed or when I wake up, I used to tell my employees, if I think of you before I go to bed and when I wake up, you probably won't be here the next day, right? You won't be here the next day because I need to clear it. And I'm going to utilize clear. And what I do is I sit up straight with my spine as straight as possible. I breathe deep through my nose as if it's coming from the end of the universe, and out through my mouth. And I tell myself, clear, clear, clear. And what I'm trying to do is make a practice of belief and neural pathways to make sure that I don't harbor that attraction in my subconscious. It is a practice. Now, a lot of people say that a habit is formed or changed or created in 21 days. I always say it's a minimum of 21 days that happens, because there is another component that dictates our personality traits, our characteristics, our habits, our disciplines, our obsessions and addictions. And that's called our DNA. I call it a quantum memory, an unconscious competency. I know that's what sends out my frequency, the power of my signal, the spectrum of my signal of who it's reaching, just like a radio in the bandwidth. People are tuning in, and I got to hit as many channels as I can, but also the clarity of my message. I know that I'm born with different potentials, and so are other people. That's why I believe in the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. My potential as a NBA star is very low. My potential as someone that knows how to sell or somebody that knows how to raise money is extremely high. But I still have to pursue my potential if I'm enjoying it. Whether I'm playing in the men's basketball league at the San Diego Jewish Center, or, I'm speaking to the United Nations to talk about how we can create and change the world through entrepreneurship and the global initiatives, and working with, Innovate University with SAP, I'm still pursuing my potential, regardless of what I'm doing. And that potential is formed within the context of my DNA. There is an epigenetic layer of the DNA that you can activate through the consistent behavior. Now, I'm going to take the last few minutes, and then we're going to start taking questions to describe something completely weird. But it really helps. I believe that you are energy, that money is energy, and I believe you have a frequency. I believe that you are vibrating. I believe that you can only be aware of that which vibrates equal to or less than you. The earth vibrates the slowest, plants, animals, humans, sound, light, and thought. I believe that the thought that vibrates the fastest is the truth. And that if you can increase your vibration, your frequency, that you can be aware of more things than anyone else. When I learned this, what motivated me to learn this was that Dr. Sangeeta Sahi, who taught me quantum healing and theta meditation and all these great things about how I can elevate my awareness to elevate other people's, is that she conned me because she told me, Dave, I wasn't really interested in meditation or raising my awareness until she told me, what if I could make you aware of when to buy or sell? That interested me. And that little thought turned into a whole practice over 13 years to increase my vibration. And now I share with everyone exactly how to learn how to buy or sell by seeking wisdom and mentorship and coaching from those people that sat in the industry and can tell you when it's overbought or oversold. Not rocket science, but I wasn't aware of it until I met Sangeeta Sahi. And there's so many other things that you can become aware of. So how do we change our frequency? How do we shift our energy? Well, I'm going to teach you something that's free, has no risk, but is a little bit nutsy. And you probably don't want to do this in front of other people, but I'll tell you what I do in times of uncertainty. When energy is flowing and pushing me to something better, greater, and more certain. right? That's all negative energy does to me, is pushes me to a better situation or makes my situation better. And the only way that I know that is I've lived through it from 93 to 97 to 2001 to 2008. Every single time, even though I didn't believe it or see it or know it, all of that negative energy just pushed me to a better situation or made my situation better. So what do I do in order to change my energy, shift my energy or my frequency? I do something called connect. I believe that I'm always connected to the most powerful source of energy, light, and inspiration. I believe that I create the interference and corrosion to that connection. So the clearer that connection, the stronger my signal, the wider my spectrum, and the clearer my message. The higher my vibration, the more I can be aware of, the simpler life gets. The more I can elevate others to elevate others, which is my main mission in life, is to impact over 1 billion people to be happy, 1,000 people at a time, meaning if I can hit 1,000 people to hit another 1,000, to hit another 1,000, that's over 1 billion people in my lifetime, and I got plenty of time. So how do I do it? In this time of uncertainty, there will be things that you are afraid of. There will be things that sit within the ego-based consciousness, which I define and practice every day, ending fear. And those fear things are stuff like the need to be separate, the need to be inferior, the need to be worthy, the need to be superior, the need to be anxious, the need to be fearful, the need to be guilty, the need to be angry, frustrated, offended, resentful. All of these different needs of the ego, whenever I find them overwhelming, I think of one of them, a person, a place, or a thing that's causing this type of energy. And what I do is I close my eyes around nobodies, so I don't want to think I'm crazy, even though I am. I want them, and I close my eyes and I think, man, this person's making me really angry. And I find a light in them. I say, you know what? That person's a good father. That person has donated to the community. That person, throughout snapshots of my life has helped me, not just hurt me at this time, hasn't always attacked me. When I was 5, they did this. When I was 9, they did this. When I was 11, they did this. And I'm trying to understand why they would attack me or do these negative things. But as I find the light and forgiveness and gratitude and accountability in them, I start covering the image of them in my mind's eye with my eyes closed. And then in the same mind's eye, I think about what I love the most. A family member, a friend, a sports team, a great victory, a moment in my life where my serotonin is just blowing out the door. Not only am I sharing it with others, but others are witnessing it, and I'm causing more joy than I've ever imagined. And all of a sudden, I have 2 big ball of light, one covering what brings me the most ego-based consciousness, and one that resides in the truth consciousness more than anything else. And I take those 2 big lights and I share them together right in front of me. And now I have one great big ball of light. I don't care what color the light is. I don't care what vibration it carries, what frequency it carries. That will be the highest frequency, because all it takes is one little particle of light from this side to overcome millions of particles of darkness on this side. And when we find the light and have overcome all the darkness, we have one big ball of light. We take that ball of light, and as crazy as it sounds, we put it over ourselves in our mind's eye, and we hold it there. And we hold it there until we feel our energy shift. We feel our energy shift, and that shift will create a frequency with a stronger signal, a wider spectrum, and a clearer message. It'll raise your awareness, simplifying life, allowing you to share the virus of serotonin to everybody else, and most importantly, allowing them to witness it. The most powerful thing in the world, happiness. These are times of uncertainty. These are times of stability and opportunity, and we need to understand those. And we need to stay at center. So wake up in the morning and find your highest frequency. It doesn't have to be through meditation. It took me years and years and years to even believe in meditation. It took me years and years and years to practice meditation. So don't think you can learn meditation overnight, because you'll sit there and get frustrated like I did. When I learned it was a practice. When I learned it was an evolution, not a revolution in my life. When I learned that everything in my life was a practice, including happiness, including serotonin. When everything was a practice in my life, I want you to practice what makes you feel good in the morning, because I want you to take a baseline every morning by taking the culture and the cash approach with the stability and opportunity. And I want you to take that inventory with the highest frequency, whether it's walking your dog, going for a swim, Whatever it is, sitting with your cup of coffee and looking at something positive, a podcast, a book, whatever it is that rocks your world. But every morning, take inventory and find your highest frequency and make that your baseline for the day. So when you come off of that baseline into ego-based consciousness with all of these needs, that you will be planting seeds for trees that you'll never sit under. You'll be watering seeds of other people that have planted those seeds, and you will be growing seeds for yourself and others. In other words, more tree and more light and love and lessons in life will be present because of what you're doing by finding that highest frequency. I'm going to end with a quick story that one of my coaching clients this morning brought up to me. They thought it was relevant and pertinent, and I really believe this to be true. I have a normal routine normally, not an adaptable one that's based off of my health, my family, and being a student in my calendar, which is the third thing that I do is pay attention, intention, and create the coincidences by studying what I have planned for the day, what I don't have planned in my sleep. But I wake up at 4 a.m. normally, and I meditate for 20 minutes, then I get ready, and at 4:30 every single morning, I then go take care of my health and go to the gym. Well, one Saturday, I walked outside at 4:30 in the morning at my highest frequency in a complete state of calmness, and I noticed that my 17-year-old daughter's car was missing. I immediately, even though it was just minutes before that I was at my highest frequency, at my baseline, trying to expand and accelerate from that point to become a better person by enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential, I lost my mind. I grabbed my cell phone and I was about to call and light my 17-year-old up, probably with some superlatives that I wouldn't be so proud of saying. I, in an immediate moment, created more interference and corrosion and created more stress on my physical, emotional, and spiritual being than you could imagine. And I was about to finish dialing when all of a sudden I said, stop, drop. Roll to the truth consciousness, because your mind, body, and soul is on fire. And your mom taught you, if you're ever on fire, stop, drop, and roll. So I sat there and I said, oh my God, I'm so pissed. I can't believe this. And I said, why am I so pissed? Why am I so pissed? And I said, no, dummy, you're not pissed. You're scared. You're scared because one of the most important people in your life may be at jeopardy. And you're not mad at all. In fact, that fear comes from the love that you have and the lessons that you've learned and the light that you share. Why are you going to create more interference and corrosion to what you're already connected to and through to her? Wake up. As I calmed down and regathered myself back up to the higher frequency, I called my daughter in a majesty of calmness. And she said, hello. I said, where are you? In my room? Why'd you wake me? Oh my gosh, I was so scared. Your car's not outside. Oh, I know, Daddy. You told me when kids are drinking that I could take an Uber home. I hope that's okay. I said, yeah, of course it's okay. Now, don't think I'm stupid enough to think that when my kid tells me kids are drinking and that she's not drinking. But I went ahead, right, understand and forgive. And I said to her, oh, I'm so sorry for waking you. And she said, that's okay, Daddy. I love you. Now, that may not sound significant in this time, and you may be asking yourself, why? Why would you tell me this story? Because to me, that was one of the moments of the most uncertainty that I had, the most fear that I had. And because I was able to stay at a higher frequency, to stay in the majesty, this calmness, to get out of my own way and clear the connection of interference and corrosion to that powerful source of energy, light, and love that I had, I know one thing, that if I did what I was going to do in ego-based consciousness, accelerated in a trajectory that I didn't want to go, I was going to end up hitting the cones. I was going to end up somewhere I didn't want to be, because the next time the kids are drinking, my daughter would say, I don't want my daddy to be mad at me, so I'm going to drive home, and God knows what would happen. My life would have changed, or maybe even hers, forever. We could have hit a cone because we were starving and staring at that cone. I want everybody to find their highest frequency, to remember culture and caste, to remember their values. Remember the Southwest example by taking inventory of your own values, find your highest frequency, cancel, clear, connect, right? Remember, when a lemon is squeezed, the juice comes out. Let's find out what's inside of you and get excited and improve and accelerate and grow. Remember, money doesn't disappear. It just slows down. So let's take advantage of that. Let's remember that save 4 minutes a day will give you 3 days of productivity a year. Remember, try things out as long as there's no risk and it works for you. Remember, look at the stocks to find those opportunities. The fastest 50 growing, the maintenance 50, and the crushed 50. And then finally, let's all spread this virus of serotonin. Let's spread this virus of happiness, the one and only virus on earth that is not only perpetuated by you sharing it, but receiving it, and even more important, witnessing it. You can share this happiness in this time of uncertainty and come out the other side better, bigger, stronger, faster, and happier. Let's keep our eye on the road. Let's help one another. Let's ask a series of questions of how we can be of service and of value, and let's ask a series of questions how others can be of service or value to us. All right. We got 10 minutes now. Let's take on some questions here. There's so many. Please email me if you have more questions. Reach out to me if you need any support at all. We're going to try to figure out more content for you, free content, one-on-one content, coaching, group coachings, all types of things we're going to try to figure out for you here over the next months to help you help others. So please, my email is david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. Go ahead, reach out personally to me. That'd be great. Let's go through these questions here. How can we adapt to these changing times as entrepreneurs? As always, the way that we adapt to changing times as entrepreneurs is, number one, know that our goal as entrepreneurs is to stay in business, right? Staying in business, money, is our heartbeat. All the great entrepreneurs of the world evolve. They evolve. There are no overnight successes. I always say overnight successes, whether it's in sports or entrepreneurship, are anomalies, right? There's only a few LeBron James and Kobe Bryants that are ever created. There's only a few Zuckerbergs and other people that, build a business in 8 months. Normally, everybody needs acceleration and growth, and we do that by skills, knowledge, and desire. But most importantly, you got to be consistent and persistent in the pursuit of your potential. You can't quit. What happens is most people get to 25% of the way there, or most people get to a time of uncertainty, and they say and start voting for what other people want. They start listening to the subconscious and unconscious voids and shortages and obstacles, and they start focusing on the cones, and they quit. 99% of the people quit when they're 25% of the way there, or some certain time of uncertainty or uncertainty happens. Then the 1% that continue on, they're blessed because all it takes is half as much time for them to get to 50% of the way. But unfortunately, when they get to 50% of the way there, once again, they start voting for what other people want, or there's too much uncertainty, and they quit. Be one of the 1% of the 1%. You don't have to be an overnight success. Just stay in business. Enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Know your values. Ask a series of questions of how you can be of service and of value to others, and ask a series of questions of how others can be of service, or they know someone that can be of service and value to you. Be a student of your calendar. Study what you have planned. Study what you don't have planned, and study your sleep with attention, intention, which is the aggregate of what you think, say, do, and believe, and those unconscious competencies that we previously discussed. And do it now. Right? You want to take advantage of this time and adapt. Do things now. 100% of all things that you do now get done. And then prioritize and put into a repository the things that you didn't get done during this time, and prioritize it, just like the Mask of Southwest, by those that have the most potential or are most important to you. And then finally, practice ending fear. These are the 5 things: your values, series of questions on both sides of the fence, do it in your calendar, do it now, and practicing ending fear will take you over the edge and allow you to be successful as an entrepreneur in these times and times far beyond, as long as you stay in business. I have a problem responding to my wife or daughter or team when I really dislike their response. My biggest problem in life, how can I do the stop, drop, and roll each time that happens? Woohoo! Man, I hope my wife is watching, because she is living at home and she cares so much about my 3 teenage daughters and gets along with them so well when we're all not confined in the same place. And I tried to tell her yesterday, you got to stop, drop, and roll. And then she went to the ego-based consciousness on me, and I had to stop, drop, and roll. Okay, stop, drop, and roll is a practice, and it's unique to everybody. The first step of stop, drop, and roll is being aware that you're in ego-based consciousness. So the thing that I would like to do is to allow people to, number one, be aware of what that is for you, to identify when you have a need to be right, offended, separate, guilty, angry, frustrated, anxious. So the minute you feel or think in a direction or trajectory that's not in the majesty of calmness or in that neutrality where you are in the flow and allowing to appreciate and give to others, you have to identify it first. So there's a step before you stop, and it's identification. So if you feel your blood pressure rise, or you feel your breathing starting to heat up, or your body starting to heat up, or you feel different than happy, that's the first indicator. I better stop. And then for me to stop, drop is breathing, right? Breathing allows me to drop down to ask the question, why do I feel this way? Right? When I look inside, I find all the solutions instead of looking outside in blame, shame, and justification. So I look inside myself to find and breathe, why do I feel this way? And when I identify the ego-based consciousness of why I feel this way, it's easy to put myself back onto the right trajectory and roll towards the trajectory I want, the objectives I want for the day, the truth that I see for the day, my potential. So if you can, number one, identify when you're not feeling happy. 2, then ask yourself and breathe why. And then 4, roll in the right trajectory by knowing your objective. You will make it a practice to stop, drop, and roll. You'll increase the statistical success of those relationships. But remember, everything I teach is a practice. It's just like golf. You're not going to get it overnight, but it doesn't matter because we believe in compound interest. We can see it on the virus side, see it on the positive side with serotonin and other things in your life. 2 turns into 4, 4 turns into 16, 16 turns into 264, blah, 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 blah. 2 turns into 4, 4 turns into 8, 8 turns into 16. That's how I've built my brand. 2 ambassadors at a time that will get me 2 more ambassadors at a time. All right, how do you suggest attacking fundraising in this climate? Great question. I have so many of my clients, we're raising a ton of money right now because we're not looking at the cones. We're not convincing ourselves that there's shortages, voids, and obstacles at this time. People need to move money. People need to do business. Money has slowed down. So if you can still create credibility, an emotional attachment, quantify the reasons, impacts, and capabilities, and show those impacts today, and effectively describe the features and benefits of what you're raising money for, and you are addressing people and asking them in person if you can, which is mostly unlikely, but at least on the phone, email, and media, you will be able to be in the short stack. You'll be able to be, look, there are a bunch of VCs at home. There's a bunch of angels at home. All these people at home that are looking to move their money, you need to present them and take advantage of the lack of competition that exists. There are going to be some people that are paralyzed by the analysis that they're going through. But the majority of the people that are entrepreneurs and venture capitalists, they're looking to give their money even now. And you just have to remember, you just got to keep your credibility, you got to keep your emotional attachment, and you definitely have to quantify the reasons, impacts, and capabilities that you fall within the context of similarities, synergistic, and supplementary interests of the companies that are accelerating today, maintaining today, or even recovering tomorrow. That's the key. All right. We got time for one quick more question. Remember, anyone that I didn't get to, please email me. Let me know I can be of service. David@dmeltzer.com. Can you break down the who I can be, who I need to be philosophy you talk about? Great way to end as we formula here. All right. There needs to be a desire in you to be what you can be, right? And the way that we get that is learning to love what we do. Right? Learning to love what we do allows us to expand to what we can be. Look, there's no why that you need to figure out. Your why is to help other people with something, right? That's your why. You need to figure out your what, and you need to accelerate and learn your what by enjoying finding the light, love, and lessons in the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your potential. That happiness is the pursuit. There's no pursuit of happiness. Happiness is the pursuit. You cannot be unhappy if you're pursuing something. So that's why the people that must be what they can be are always pursuing something, what they can be, determinative upon what they want to be.